Irgendwo im fremden Land ziehen wir durch Stein und Sand, fern von zu Haus und vogelfrei. 100 Mann und ich bin dabei. 100 Mann und ein Befehl und ein Weg, den keiner will. Tag ein, Tag aus, wer weiß wohin, verbrannt.
And it is the Desert Fox signing on. And today's video is going to be an interesting discussion. And, well, we're going to be discussing the ever-growing homeless problem in the United States. Now, if I just go to my local Walmart in my little tiny town, very rural, and you go to the Walmart and you look at each end where the shopping carts are, you'll find at least 50, 60 homeless. And you can see needles, you can see feces. And this is in a small, rural little town. And let's not even get to California or Los Angeles, but still, I'll show you a picture of California and Los Angeles homeless. So, these are the mass poor homeless I feel so bad for. I do. It's a very great fear to be homeless. And this is not Skid Row. This is outside rich people's houses. And that's quite unbelievable. You saw the pictures of Skid Row, everything like that. But what's even more insane that it's not just famous Skid Row now. It's right outside these giant rich people's walls. Just right outside. Or maybe even just a mile away from their house. Hordes of homeless. And you see, it's pretty bad when it gets to that. However, you know it's getting really bad when in a local small town in Walmart you have homeless piling up. So, I will have a hypothesis of how to deal with the homeless. Now, this hypothesis has been reached through a lot of discussion, research, that, and this is to drain the least resources on the taxpayer, maximize the success of getting the homeless off their feet, and reducing the homeless population to nothing. This is maximum everything. So, first things first. We offer an alternative solution from jail or a warming shelter. Now, you see, warming shelters are wonderful. However, they can only stay up so long, or it only stays open 3 days a week. And then, it drains on the taxpayer. Okay, well then let's go to jails. All jails do is give them food and this, that, but it's really just inhumane, and it also drains on the taxpayer constantly. If we don't do anything about it, well, they're just going to be on the streets with feces and crack needles everywhere, which is a concern to public health and safety. So, what do? It almost seems like we're trapped from every corner. However, there is a work camp solution. This is the alternative solution. I might say, well, work camp, what is that? Well, you see, we're going to have a work camp as an alternative solution. The plan is get some money available and hope that the judge may say to the homeless, instead of serving them a sentence of jail or anything like that, you might serve an alternative sentence to a work camp as an experimental test. Now, you see, in the 20s and very early 30s in Berlin after World War I, Hitler had the same problem with mass homeless and such other things. It was awful in Berlin. And like I showed you in some of my other previous videos, you had to have wheelbarrows full of money, so there was lots of homeless, lots of drug use, awful, awful, awful stuff. Now, what he did is, well, he made work camps, this, that, and you see, with work camps, you can drain very little on the taxpayer. Now, let's get through all the Hitler politics, everything. Let's not even focus on the politics, let's just focus on the bare bones minimum money it produces and how much it gets off the homeless off their feet. Let's just not even focus about the politics. Let's just focus on the work camps themselves and how good they are and effective throughout history. Hitler made a battered Germany from the worst country maybe on earth at that time to the best in 3 years. by making work camps National Socialism. So I don't plan to do National Socialism to a super degree, but I do plan to make work camps, because work camps are, are self-sufficient after a while. Because you got boots, you can open up close near ores and mine. You can build a farm outside. It's wonderful. So this will give the homeless something to work at, be totally self-sufficient, and not drain on the taxpayer, and be humane. Now, what about meals and how to get up, how the daily schedule works? Well, they get up first thing, sometime early in the morning. They go in the mass shower hall. After the shower, they get in their clothes on, and you're assigned to the appointed task. Now, for elderly or they're young, like 5, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and then for the elderly, 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, those old people that's really, there's a lot of old homeless people, believe it or not. And they can have a job such as boot working or clothes production, because that's all very important, and we can also sell them. So that's the problem there. Now, how will the homeless be handled? Well, the police will be called on large homeless groups and be rounded up. Then they'll be transported to the work camp. Now, let's transport to the work camp to get ready, and there is, let's see, a lot of homeless people, as you may see, can be either very lazy, might be drugs, this, that. However, there is a couple instances like experiments such as Rat Park. If you haven't heard of Rat Park, you gotta learn about that. Now, Rat Park was an experiment where it was a test where they put a rat in a very small cage, and with very little food, just enough to survive on, and 2 waters, one laced with drugs, one not laced with drugs. The rat always drank the drugs and overdosed. Then they tried a large cage with multiple rats and things to do, things to play, and sex. And, well, what happened is they did the same water bottle. One laced with opium, one just normal water. The rats never drank the opium and surely, definitely never overdosed. So the conclusion is that it's very easy to get someone on drugs through social development in their lives, and it's not purely the drugs. So this is why we need work camps instead of throwing them in jail. So, and if they're just lazy and they do not want to work, we have things for that. Now you see, we can throw them in a cell, and we can give them only oatmeal and water, and a couple of vitamins and a little bit of vitamin D here and there. And then we'll probably, and you see, if you smell mashed potatoes, chicken, steak, all that, and you're getting old bowls of oatmeal with no butter and just hot water, well, I'm thinking you're probably going to want the hot meals. So then that's a motivation to work. And then there's always going to be the 1% who refuse to work. The 1% who are just going to refuse, and will do nothing. So, you see, there is a solution for that. If we release them out into society, well, they can be a public danger or a health risk. If we throw them in a jail, they're consuming on the taxpayer, which is just not necessary. So, here's something that the French did sometime in the 15 to the 1800s, which is pretty effective. You ship them either to a rural place where they cannot be found by society, or they cannot be reintegrated in society, they're too far away, or just on an island. So what this does is this, well, you don't hurt them, just throw them on the island, they're left to survive on their own. This is because they can be a public danger or health risk to people, or just consume on the taxpayer. So this is a very viable solution, such as the French did. And this finally brings us to mental health. Now, at some point in the program, we have to have some charity and humanity. So, for a lot of people who have mental health needs, we could open up a cycle ward right by it and take care of people's mental health. Now, in no way could I ever explain the entire work camp idea in one video. So please, in the next couple of days, we'll have part 2 out. Keep watching for that. But until then, this has been the Desert Fox, signing off.